just can't make up my mind if I want an iPad. I'm currently in the market for a MacBook device. I've spent the last few months switching
I'm
back
considering
and
getting
forth.
an iPad for
Oh,
college.
goodness,
And I'm wondering, is anyone particularly excited about an iPad?
Man, these iPad dreams are getting really weird. Who is texting me? It's 1 in the morning, Gary. It's 1 in the morning.
Oh, forgot to ask you. I'm looking for a laptop. What's the best laptop?
Hey, Alex, what's the best laptop I could get for a friend of mine? I'm looking for like a MacBook or something.
I'm looking at the new Galaxy Tab. What's up, man? What do you mean laptop? It's 2021. Get an iPad Pro.
Yeah, but not everything needs to be an iPad. There's certain things you just can't do on an...
Get an iPad.
I was thinking of maybe like a Ryzen laptop, something that would suit him better.
Get an iPad.
Okay, you know what? Never mind then. Never mind then.
Why'd you turn off the light? What are you doing?
Nothing. Just checking out a box. That's it.
Oh boy.
Let me explain. Some people just can't use an iPad for certain things. I know what you've done. And it just can't be forgiven. You know what it is, man. You know what it is. What is this? Double the power, double the money. $3,000. Get ready to empty your wallet. What? Hey, you're looking to buy a brand new MacPad Pro? Who are you? How many people live here? Don't worry about that. I'm just here to talk about the brand new MacPad Pro. You can't just combine an iPad and a Mac and charge $3,000. Of course we can. Listen, buddy, there are Mac people and there are iPad people. Completely different types of people. That's why you don't even need to decide on a device anymore. You don't need to charge it. You don't even need to unbox it. Are you guys even trying anymore? It literally looks like an iPad with a Mac taped to it. It's the same stuff every year. It's the fastest iPad ever made attached to the fastest Mac ever made. Did you say the fastest iPad ever made? Guess I don't really have to plug anything in anymore. Exactly, you get my point. Just stop. Please listen to me. I'm just trying to recommend to Gary that he can get a MacBook. It's kind of hard to listen to a MacBook user. What do you mean it's hard to listen to a MacBook user? Same ecosystem, man. I like the iPad, but it's just not for everybody. Okay, Alex, let's talk about it then. Let's really break it down. Starting with him as an example for the average user. How are you gonna use him as an example? He literally works for Apple. Hello? Yes? Couple Intel Macs running hot? Huh. Got to sell some more M1, you know what I mean? See ya, I'll be back. Forget him. Forget using him as an example. 3 reasons why you need an iPad. Hit me with a pen, Apple man. Everybody always needs a pencil. You can draw on it.
Listen, I get it. It's great for artists and people who like taking notes by hand, but I like to type. I like recommending laptops to people who like typing their notes. That's because you're old school. You need to get with the times, old man. How are you gonna call me old? You're literally me. And I like the Apple Pencil. I think it's really cool. But at the same time, are we not done handwriting notes? What was a keyboard made for? Secondly, you have a keyboard. It's literally attached to the iPad and I can see it. The iPad is the future of technology. And with the M1, this thing is faster than ever. Okay, sure, the M1 is a massive improvement, but have we not gone over this multiple times? The iPad still has too many limitations for some people's workflows. And that's literally a 2018 iPad Pro. You're not fooling anybody. No, hold on. It's got the M1, it's got upgraded RAM, and they even added a LiDAR sensor. Okay, man, how many times do you really use the LiDAR scanner? Secondly, let's talk about the fact that the iPad is literally a glorified iPhone, and if Apple makes it too good, there's not gonna be a reason to buy a Mac anymore. Wait a minute, what did you just say? You just said if the iPad gets too good, there won't be a reason to buy a Mac. That's my point exactly. There's no reason to buy a Mac. Oh my, come on, man. What's up, guys? So today we're gonna be talking about, as you can tell, the entire dilemma between the MacBook and the iPad. I see this question asked around everywhere. Do I buy an iPad? Do I buy a MacBook? I need it for school. I need it for work. This question can be asked in a million different flavors because everyone's workflows and everyone's style of doing their work is so different and so varied. So when it comes to buying an Apple device in 2021, we really have two things we can go for. You can go for an iPad or you can go for a MacBook, at least when we're talking about mobile devices. This year we saw a pretty substantial upgrade in terms of what came to the table regarding the iPad Pro. We got the brand new XDR display powered by mini LED, where the backlighting is now better than ever without having some of the downsides that come with OLED like burn-in. You have 1600 nit peak brightness, you have almost infinite contrast levels, you get those deep inky blacks, and those super bright highlight levels. There's also a LiDAR scanner if you're into that, which is pretty cool. Thunderbolt 3 support, so you can plug in crazy fast external drives. And then on top of that, the headlining feature, which is the blazing fast M1, finally came to the iPad Pro. And for previous iPad Pro users, this is a great thumbs up. You got even more juice than you did on the previous models. Now, whether or not you're going to be able to actually take advantage of all that extra power is really up to discussion. I think a lot of iPad users are gonna agree with me that not everyone is gonna squeeze every last ounce of juice out of these processors, but a lot of people buy the iPad Pro because of the entire experience you have on it. Meaning the buttery screen, you have the Apple Pencil, you have the small form factor that you can bring on the go with the excellent battery life. And at this point, it's really good. Now, that being said, I can't use it as my everyday device, obviously. My workflow just can't fit this thing in it. I mean, if it could run the big boy apps like Photoshop, DaVinci Resolve, full-fledged Final Cut Pro, some Xcode applications, there's a lot of different things. If this thing ran big boy apps, you'd be in a completely different market. But then at the same time, this year we got the M1. And with the M1, you're being given the ability to upgrade to 8 gigs of RAM to even 16 gigs of RAM on this model. What does that mean for the future? Could we possibly get the real big boy apps that require nice amounts of RAM? Very possible. What Apple has in storage for the next generation of the iPad could be very interesting. But at the same time, the M1 kind of opens the door to get into your full-fledged desktop applications on the iPad. Unfortunately, people who use some video editing programs that don't run on the iPad, like Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro, VFX artists, musicians, a lot of the professional grade programs just don't run on the iPad. Or they require you to jump through so many hoops that it makes doing your work impossible. But then at the same time, who's buying the iPad Pro? Is it always professionals that are gonna use their iPad for work, or is it for people who are just gonna use it for web browsing, watching videos, taking some notes? Then at the same time, you really think about it and you're like, okay, maybe I don't need an iPad, maybe I need a MacBook. And that's on the other end of the spectrum, where now the M1 seems to have invaded that territory as well. It's pretty crazy how the Macs are now considered a really good value even when comparing them to the Windows laptops. I think this year we saw a lot of Windows users switch to Mac for the first time strictly because of the M1. And if you take a look at the base M1 Mac, basically you can pick this thing up for $900. And these Macs, the overall performance of these Macs with the battery life and the price that they're being offered at, it's a pretty good deal. Great performance from the M1, an awesome screen, not as good as the iPad Pro's screen, but then at the same time you're getting a high resolution, color accurate display, so there's really no complaining. Also, when you really look at the features that come with a MacBook, sure, you don't have a massive amount of ports. You have 2 Thunderbolt ports, you have Touch ID, but when it really comes to the meat and potatoes of the MacBook, a lot of times you're gonna be able to run applications that you just can't run on the iPad Pro. Additionally, Apple is essentially lighting a fire underneath developers, waving dollar bills as a financial incentives, telling them, hey, the Apple Silicon platform is where the future of Mac is going, so if you want to stay afloat, migrate your apps over to this platform. I have spoken to a couple developers about this, and apparently Apple is making this process a little bit easier, so you are seeing a lot of your favorite applications start coming to the Apple Silicon platform. At the same time, there really isn't a definitive answer between MacBook and iPad Pro. We are all different, we wear different clothes, have different hobbies, and require different tools. So for the bulk of people that just want a device for web browsing, watching videos, note-taking, or for artists who want the pencil for precision work, the iPad and the iPad Pro are going to be phenomenal choices. But then at the same time, there are people who are going to be better tailored to the MacBook experience. Those who need great file management, desktop-level apps, and some phenomenal performance, the M1 Mac is definitely going to suit you well. Really, everything changed once the M1 came out, making this decision a little bit more difficult while bringing some pretty sick tech to the table. So if you have any questions about the entire iPad Pro versus MacBook dilemma, or you need some recommendations to buy things, go ahead, comment down below, and comment down so we can promote this video and see if the algorithm picks it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Videos are coming.